Well, a very good afternoon from Phuket. I'm Tony. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Today we're back over in Patong and I'm going to be taking a look at an area that I filmed a couple of days ago in the evening time called Kalim. But in the evening time I couldn't walk along the coast road to show you how far it actually is from Patong, because it's not far at all, and there's some lovely views as well looking back across the bay of Patong. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to have a walk to Kalim. I'm also going to show you around Kalim in the daytime as well, because of course it's going to look different to the evening video that I did. So let's now go. So just to give you an idea where we are, of course the Patong beach sign here at the northern end of Patong beach, very well known, the little roundabout. And what we're going to do is follow the coast road, which is just here in front of me, and that will take you to Surin or Kalim A beach depending on where you want to go, and it follows the coast along. I'm hoping the weather's going to hold, because when I left my home this morning there was a big black cloud sitting right over the top. They haven't forecast any rain today, but as you can see there is clouds moving in, unfortunately. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed it's going to hold out long enough for me to do this video. Now, as I mentioned, Kalim isn't too far away from Patong, so even if you haven't got any transport you're going to be able to walk there. And it is a nice area, and there's a lot of large hotels in Kalim itself, so it might be an area that you might want to consider staying in, because it's on the northern edge of Patong. A lovely area. If you've seen the nighttime video of Kalim, it's a great place to go and get some street food. A lot of street vendors down there, as you've seen in the video. If you haven't seen that video already, go and check it out. And then as we come round we have a small little beach which I'm going to show you. I don't know the name of this beach, to be honest. This is a nice little spot if you want to get away from the main area. I've also noticed a small restaurant here as well. You can see a few people enjoying the beach, and there's a small little restaurant there. Let's just have a look at the prices. Sandwiches 100 baht, deep fried chicken 100 baht, and they do some Thai food as well. I'm not going to go and spend much time looking at the menu, because I know it can be boring looking at menus, but I'm just trying to give you an idea. So around the 100-120 mark. I don't see much above 120, to be fair, on there, so that's not too bad. Okay, let's now carry on with our little walk to Kalim. We're going to walk back up here. There's some lovely spots, some great photo opportunities. Now, on the evening video that I did recently, I couldn't walk down here with the camera, because whilst the road is lit, it's not lit very well, so my camera would have been struggling, so I didn't come too far down the road. There are lights down here and there are places that are lit up, as I say, but there are areas that are a little bit too dark for my camera, and that's why I didn't do it in the evening time. But I wanted to come back and show you, because it is just lovely to come and walk along here. There's some fantastic views, as you can see there. Just beautiful views, and it's all the way along here right into Kalim. You're going to have this, so it's quite a pleasant walk. You can see down there there's little paths, etc. There is a footpath in this part of the road, or this section of the road, but there are a few places where there isn't a footpath, and you will be walking on the actual road itself. So of course you need to take care, because you do get big lorries coming along here. There's some really nice restaurants along here as well. My best advice with the restaurants, let's just wait until this truck's gone, because I'm going to be struggling with the sound. If you're struggling to get up the hill there, let him just go out the way. Now, as I was saying, there are some really nice restaurants positioned along here, as you can see there. 1200 for lobster. But what I suggest is, before you decide on the restaurant, take a look on Google Maps or something similar to that. Have a look at what the reviews are on the different individual restaurants, because you might be quite surprised that A lot of these restaurants look really nice, but the reviews that I've read on them, some of them, I'm not going to mention names because it's something you don't do over here because you can get into trouble for it, but some of the restaurants have very, very poor reviews. Price extremely expensive, service very poor, etc, etc, and the list goes on. So it does make you think. You need to look very closely at the reviews before you decide on a particular restaurant, because it may look lovely from the outside, but unfortunately the service and the price may be lacking. So it's something to keep in mind. I'm not saying all the restaurants around this area are not good, because that's not the case at all, but I'm just sort of pre-warning you that it's a good idea to have a look before you decide on a particular restaurant, because I know the restaurants around here. Now this is what I was saying, you see, you've got cars parked on the path and you've got to walk into the road, and this is a very busy road, especially in the daytime. It's busy in the evening, but especially in the daytime. You've got a little motorbike rental there, if you want to rent, and then the Diamond Cliff Resort and Spa to my right hand side, if I can get a space where there's no traffic. There you go. Now we're coming up to the Sea Salt Lounge and Grill. This looks a lovely place. I haven't visited it myself. I'm going to just be cheeky and stick my nose in there with the camera, just so you can have a quick look at the sort of view and the sort of place. I mean, that looks really, really nice inside for an evening meal. Now, I haven't looked at the reviews of this particular restaurant. You might want to check it out. I don't know. Let's just have a quick gander on the menu. So we've got appetizers starting at $2.25, going up all the way to $3.90. We've got some pastas on there all the way up to $7.90 from $4.90. We've got some grills, $999 down to, what's the cheapest one on there? Well, actually the dearest is $1,190, and the cheapest I can see is $5.95. So whilst not mega expensive, not cheap either, so it might be worth taking a look at the reviews and seeing what people say. Now, of course, some restaurants are going to have one or two bad reviews, and that's quite common. You know, that's nothing to worry about. If there's only one or two negative reviews, you're never going to please everybody. There's always somebody that's not going to be happy with the restaurant service, price, whatever it may be. But when you get a particular restaurant with a lot of negative reviews, then that's the time to start to ask yourself, well, are all those people wrong? So that's what I say. When I've looked for restaurants here in Patong, it's been very, very difficult to find restaurants that have got really good reviews all the way across the board, because a lot of the restaurants over here, one common complaint people have, I'm just going to show you this beach area as well. This is another one you can go down onto. Lovely. One of the common complaints about restaurants here in Patong is expensive. A lot of them are very, very expensive, and the next one is poor service. So to me that goes hand in hand. If you're paying a lot of money for a meal, you would expect the restaurant service to be impeccable, but that isn't always the case, unfortunately. Now, they are doing a little bit of work here on the railing that runs along, so you need to just be careful. If you're coming along here, just pay attention to the road. It's difficult for me when I'm filming because, of course, I've got the camera and I've got to sort of look where the camera's looking, where I'm looking, etc, etc, and I'm not always watching where I go in, and sometimes Nat has to grab hold of me because I'm walking in the road and there's a car coming and I've not noticed, or I'm heading towards a hole in the road or something like that, because sometimes I just simply don't notice because I'm concentrated, of course, on the camera. So pay attention to the road if you haven't got a camera and what's going on around you, because it's very busy around this area. You can see people walking down the road. It's not that far. How long have we been going? 10 minutes and we're almost there. So on the evening video or nighttime video that I did of this area, I stopped around here at the top of the hill, simply because, as I say, the road isn't that well lit for camera work. It's fine for walking along in the evening if you haven't got a camera or you're not doing any filming, but for cameras you need a little bit more light, and I could see on the camera that I was using it was struggling, so that's why I stopped here. I think this was the point that I stopped. But we've got some accommodation. These are actually villas. I had a look the other day after I did the evening filming because there is a lot of accommodation. There's more here, and there's a big hotel here, as you can see in front. Lots and lots of accommodation. There's going to be even more as we go further down. So plenty of places to stay around here, and you're only, well, it's saying 11 minutes. So it's took me 11 minutes to walk from the Patong beach sign to the edge of Kalim. So you're not that far away. And of course, if you've got a vehicle like a scooter, a motorbike, a car, you're literally 2 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes away from Patong. So it's a great area to come and stay in. Because if you don't want all the hustle and bustle of Patong, you don't want to be in the main area, then maybe you want to be able to go into Patong quite easily, then maybe this is going to be an ideal area to consider. We've got some exchanges over there. I did do that the other night. Have a look on the night video. I've got some exchange prices on there. There's a massage shop and a 7-Eleven. Nice restaurant to my left hand side. Again, I have shown this on the nighttime video, so I did cover it. So quite reasonable facilities in this area, and that's got a nice view overlooking the Bay of Patong, of course. And then we've got a pharmacist across the road. There's a small motorbike hire shop open now. That wasn't open on the evening video, but I can see it's clearly open now. It's only a small place. There's a small restaurant there again, and then there's more. Let that motorbike go. And there's more restaurants and food vendors along the front, as you will see shortly. Most of the food vendors come in the evening time, so it's a great place, as I mentioned before, to try some street food. Over here, nice big large hotel there across the road. That looks really nice in the evening, all lit up. And then we have another beach area that you can enjoy. So if you're staying at one of these hotels, you're not going to have far. There's plenty of sections. Yes, there's a few rocks here on the beach, but there's also sandy sections as well, as you can see. Not massive, but it's quite nice if you want to get away from the main beach for whatever reason. Maybe you just want your own space. Maybe you've got a family with some kids and you just want a bit of space to yourself, then maybe this would be ideal. But you can see the difference. If you've seen the night video already, you're going to notice the difference here, where I showed all the food vendors. At night it can be chaos down here. A lot of people in Patong flood to Kalim in the evening. They sit along the edge of the coastline, they have some food, and they just enjoy the atmosphere. And this is normally packed. There's one or two here. I mean, it's just after lunchtime, it's just gone 12 o'clock. So there's one or two here, but at night they're all the way along, plenty of choice at night time. So it's a great place to come in the evening. If you're staying in Patong, you want to get out of Patong, see something different. It is a bit rocky in this section, I will point that out. And then people just sit all the way along here behind the vendors, as you would have seen on that video. So as I say, if you haven't checked that video out, go and check it out. It's worth having a look. It'll give you a few options. Of course, we've got, I'm not sure what that is. It could be possibly a school. I may be wrong. I'm not sure what that is. Whether it's accommodation. It doesn't look like accommodation, if I'm honest. Could possibly be a school. I'm not sure. But then we've got a family mart, and there are some hotels. As I mentioned on the other video that I did, this road runs quite a long way down. More hotels at the bottom, as you can see on the cliffside. Large hotels, very well known. I'm not going to walk all the way down there because it's a fair old jaunt, to be honest. But there are a few smaller shops, there's a few sois to explore as well down here, and there's a lovely viewpoint here in Kalim, which I'm going to cover on a separate video. I have been up to it, but it was about 6 months ago, and it was in a little bit of a disrepair because obviously at that time we had the current situation worse than what it is now. People wasn't using it, so I guess the people that run it, own it, whatever the case may be, wasn't really looking after it, so it had gone into a bit of a state of disrepair. But I've seen now pictures online that it's starting to come back, so that's something that I'm going to do as a separate video, that viewpoint, because it's definitely well worth considering going and taking a look at that viewpoint if you're either in Patong or even here in Kalim. It's going to give you something, get some really nice pictures looking down towards Patong. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm not going to make it too long because, as I mentioned before, Kalim is not a massive area, but it's worth coming and exploring if you're not staying here, because it makes a change, a break from the main section of Patong. It has got one or two smaller beach areas that you can come and enjoy. It's good for surfing at certain times of the year. My friend Pete comes here quite regular. Not at this time of year, but at certain times of the year we do get quite big waves here, so it's good with the surfers, but you do have to be very careful here because there's a lot of rocks underneath the sea, so it can be dangerous. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, don't forget, check out the description. All my links, social media, etc, etc are going to be down there, so go and check the description out. If you haven't joined my Facebook group, as always, you're very welcome to join it. There's lots of things in my Facebook group that I don't always make videos on YouTube, so go and have a look at that if you haven't joined it already. I'd like to say a big thank you for everybody that's been subscribing to my channel. It's very much appreciated. I really do appreciate it, and I notice now my subscriber count is now starting to rise up again. It's slow, but it's getting there slowly as I'm making more and more videos. So thank you for subscribing to the channel. Well, I guess that just leaves me to say, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, you take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.